What if I told you someone could read your thoughts without you ever saying a word? That intelligence agencies, the CIA, NSA, MI6, have invested billions in learning how to decode your mind? Not in some sci-fi future, but decades ago. What if they knew when you were lying, even before you open your mouth, that your face, your heartbeat, your silence, all gave you away? This isn't fantasy. It's real. From Cold War experiments on unwitting civilians to mind-reading programs kept hidden from the public, this is the true story of how secret agencies tried, and in some cases succeeded, in reading the human mind. And the question isn't did it happen? The real question is, are they doing it right now? Let's begin. The year is 1949. The Cold War has just begun. And the U.S. is terrified, not just of Russian bombs, but Russian minds. Rumors swirl that the Soviets are experimenting with psychic soldiers, reading thoughts, controlling behavior, turning enemies into puppets. So the CIA responds the only way it knows how, by going darker, deeper, further. They call it behavioral modification. But that's just a sanitized term. What they really want is control, mind control. In underground labs and black budget programs, psychiatrists and scientists gather, not to cure, but to weaponize the mind. They begin testing hypnosis, sensory deprivation, truth serums, and then something more radical. LSD. They think, what if this drug unlocks the mind? What if it cracks open the subconscious? CIA officers dose unknowing citizens, even their own agents. Some go mad. Some never recover. Files are burned. Names redacted. But the goal stays the same. Learn how to manipulate the human mind until it bends or breaks. This wasn't science fiction. It was government-funded reality. And it laid the foundation for everything that came next. In 1953, the CIA launches Project MKUltra, top secret, completely illegal. Its mission? Create techniques to control human behavior. At any cost, doctors administer LSD to prisoners, mental patients, even children. Without their consent, they use electroshock, isolation tanks, sleep deprivation, psychological torture. They want to erase memories, implant new ones, break people down, and rebuild them in the CIA's image. One subject, a Canadian woman, checks into a hospital for mild depression. She leaves months later with no memory of her own children. They wiped her identity clean. In another case, a CIA agent is dosed without warning. He jumps from a window days later. They call it suicide. Decades later, the CIA quietly settles with his family, but the files, most were destroyed. MKUltra ran for 20 years. Its victims never knew they were part of an experiment, but its legacy lives on because what they learned about suggestion, perception, manipulation would be used again, only quieter and more precise. The next frontier? Remote viewing. The CIA wants to know, can a person see something thousands of miles away just using their mind? They recruit psychics, soldiers, civilians, and create Project Stargate. For over 20 years, remote viewers are trained to access distant targets, military bases, hostage sites, foreign bunkers, all without leaving their chair. It sounds ridiculous until you read the declassified reports. Some viewers pinpointed exact coordinates of hidden submarines. Others describe rooms inside secret facilities. Success rate? Higher than chance. Enough to make skeptics sweat. Enough to keep funding flowing. The CIA wasn't just exploring the mind. They were starting to believe in its untapped potential. And even if 90% failed, they only needed 1% to succeed. Because in the world of espionage, one psychic hit could change a war. Meanwhile, back in reality, the CIA digs into behavioral science. How do you know when someone's lying? What does the body reveal when the mind stays silent? They turn to facial coding, microexpressions, the split-second movements in your face that betray your emotions. You can fake a smile, but you can't fake the twitch of an eye or the tightening of a jaw. The CIA funds research. They develop facial recognition tools tied to emotion tracking. They start using these techniques in interrogations, and airports, and embassies. And it works. An agent spots a tell in a suspected spy. They confront him. He breaks, confesses everything. No torture, just a glance. This is when the idea shifts. You don't need to read someone's mind if you can decode their face. Then came the internet, and the war for the mind went digital. Social media, search histories, keystroke tracking. Now, they didn't need to guess your thoughts. You gave them willingly. The CIA partners with tech companies, not directly, but through national security contracts. They analyze your likes, shares, Dwell time. Your personality profile is more detailed than your medical file. They can predict with high accuracy who you'll vote for when you're likely to break up, even if you're prone to radical beliefs. In 2010s, whistleblowers like Edward Snowden confirm you are being watched, not just what you do, but how you feel. And it's not just for ads, it's for power. Forget waterboarding. Modern interrogation isn't about force. It's about framing. The CIA studies psychological leverage, how to extract truth without a single threat. They use something called cognitive interview. The agent builds rapport, reframes questions, triggers memory cues, and the subject doesn't even know they're confessing. They map stress indicators in real time, monitor blinking rates, speech tempo, breathing shifts. The agent nods, smiles, and writes everything down. And you think you're just having a conversation. Now let's raise the stakes. Not just individuals, but entire populations. The CIA dives deep into mass influence, disinformation, propaganda, psychological operations. They study how rumors spread, how fear moves people, how to trigger tribalism. In 2016, it's revealed that political campaigns worldwide use behavioral data to manipulate voter psychology. And who developed those tools? Contractors trained in military psychological operations. The techniques used on terrorists, now used on citizens. Mind control didn't vanish. It evolved. The question isn't can minds be read? It's should they be? Because every breakthrough came at a cost. MKUltra victims never got justice. Remote viewers often lost grip on reality. Interrogation subjects live with trauma. And you don't even know you're being profiled. We gave up our thoughts for convenience. And now we're owned by the systems we fed. The mind was the last private place. And even that is now under surveillance. You're not powerless. Awareness is your first offense. You can control what you share, what you say, what you think. Not every thought needs to be posted. Not every emotion needs to be tracked. Remember this. The mind is powerful, but so is the will to protect it. The next war won't be fought with bombs. It'll be fought with beliefs, ideas, narratives. Guard yours. If this story left you speechless or uncomfortable, that's good. It means you're thinking. Speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Repeat button, send this to someone who needs to understand. Television, subscribe for more raw, untold stories of truth and power. Bell, and don't forget to hit that bell. This isn't just storytelling. This is awakening. Stay aware. Stay empowered.